2022. I'm filling in for Mike tonight because he's under the weather, and Kara Nyman has a work commitment, so she's not going to be here either. We'll go stand Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Community announcements. Mr. Lapp.
Thank you, Larry. Two announcements. The first is I just want to remind the public that we have a large supply of COVID-19 at-home rapid tests that are available for free for all Rockland residents. They're available here at Town Hall and also the Senior Center and the Community Center. So especially coming after the recent school vacation week, I just encourage any residents that are interested in getting a free COVID test to come into Town Hall, Senior Center, or the Community Center. And you can come back every week if your family needs more tests, come back the next week and the week after. We still have a large supply available and they're free of charge. And then the second announcement, the town clerk wanted me to remind folks that dog licenses are due by March 31st. That's all I have, Larry.
Excellent. And I would like to just say thank you to Dog Officer Ian Davidson he does a great job for the town of Rockland, taking care of people's loose animals and getting them to where they belong safely, always with a smile on his face. Next on the agenda will be the minutes of the meeting of February 5th, open meeting, February 15, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I got a motion in a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Rich is in. Is that an aye, Rich? It is.
That is.
Okay. New business. High School Music Boosters Bottle and Can Drive fundraiser. Saturday, 4/9/22, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Town Hall.
And Larry, if I can, I'll just quickly read the brief email note that the boosters sent. They're looking to hold a bottle and can drive fundraiser on Saturday the 9th from 9 to 12. The fundraiser is basically just people dropping off their bottles and cans. They'll do it in front of Town Hall. There'll be several parents and high school music students present to collect the donations. And they're just looking for permission. And that was from Heather Ivel, the high school music booster president. And so we obviously personally support that. And they're just looking for the board's approval as well.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion in a second. All in favor? Tiffany?
Aye.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Rich and Larry
Aye.
also.
Yep.
They'll all say aye.
Aye.
All right. Other new business not reasonably anticipated. Mr. Lapp.
I have none.
You have none. On the old business, anything with the fiscal year 23 budget?
Yeah, a couple things. I guess the first is I just wanted to see if the board had any questions from the presentation that I gave at the last meeting, because I know that was a lot of information and we are looking to add a number of new positions. So I just wanted to make myself available if you had any questions on that. And then if not, I also thought I would share my screen and just very briefly go over my latest. Actually, you know what? Before I go on to free cash, maybe I will just mention a couple of things on the budget. The numbers are always sort of changing in the margins, that we get new information and we get updates and little things are swinging back and forth. So two examples of that are the Board of Assessors did their overlay release, which they do every year. We had estimated it could be $70,000. They actually released $100,000. So that made $30,000 available in the budget. And the timing of that was perfect because at the same time, I got the official word from the Norfolk Aggie school that our assessment for our students that go there actually went up by nearly $30,000. So we got an extra $30,000 in revenue, which was offset by an extra $30,000 expense. So the budget is still balanced. So the timing of that was good. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is just that, in doing the presentation and going over the budget, I feel obligated just to communicate to the board that the police chief, Chief Llewellyn, has been advocating very strongly for his department and, was reminding me and wanted me to let the board know that he did request an additional SRO, student resource officer, school resource officer, to be funded in FY23. And that's, unfortunately, that wasn't something that I was able to fund in my proposed budget. I do fully value and appreciate what school resource officers bring, and I do hope and plan on making that possible in the future, maybe even as soon as the next year in FY24. So I just felt obligated. I thought I should let the board know that that is something that, the chief feels strongly about. We had a lot of very spirited discussions about it, and we understood each other's perspective. And I just wanted you to know that he has made that point, and it's the reason why it's not in the budget is not because of my feeling that it's not important or that it's not something that we should do. We had a lot of other requests in addition to that we were not able to fund, and we had to make some difficult choices and prioritize. And the new elementary school is still under construction. It's scheduled to be open about a year from now. I'm not exactly sure when students will actually come in. That's still to be determined. But hopefully we'll be able to do the new SRO a year later in FY24. So I just wanted to put that out there so that you're aware of his concerns, and obviously it's the board's role to set priorities and things like that. So we still have more time with the budget. I'm hoping next meeting on the 15th. That's when I can go over the whole budget again, even a complete draft of the whole town meeting warrant, and we can see if you have any questions then, or different direction that you want to give me for priorities. Then I thought, if it's okay with you, Larry, I just share my screen briefly, because I thought I would go over for the first time in more detail the articles and free cash,
Sure.
the use of free cash that I'm proposing. So in my PowerPoint presentation that I gave you last meeting, I did have a screenshot of this, but it was so small, I wasn't sure how useful it would be. And a few things have changed, so I wanted to share with you the most recent numbers. So our free cash is 4.5 million, which we've already gone over in depth before. It was an excellent number, but abnormally high. We don't expect to see this high a free cash number again anytime soon. In addition to free cash, we have a little over $910,000 in our marijuana host community agreement fund. And so those are funds that are generated from the 2 marijuana dispensaries that have host community agreements with the town. We have a policy that the Board of Selectmen already adopted, and we have a special fund set up for that, so we can appropriate funds out of that account at town meeting for eligible uses. So we start with those available funds. The first thing, we label it as an accountant's holdback. That's basically just a reserve amount that we set aside so we don't spend every penny of free cash, so that we have a little bit of cushion in case other emergencies come up later. Contractual buyouts, self-explanatory. 650,000 for snow and ice. We've had a few big storms. Hopefully 650,000 is going to do it. If not, we'll have to take more out of the holdback to fund that. The next one is a article that the school department has requested for, in addition to their normal $100,000 a year in new technology, they have an opportunity with a grant to purchase additional technology, things like laptops, Chromebooks, things like that, at an exceptionally good value, exceptionally good price, but it has to be done this fiscal year. So that's why we're looking to do it here. And at town meeting, we would do this in the special town meeting, so it could be done again within the fiscal year. One thing I'm actually exploring is the potential of using ARPA funds to cover this, so we would not have to use it from free cash, because it is really directly related to the pandemic and all the additional remote learning that's had to occur. So I have that highlighted because that might be able to be taken off and funded through ARPA. The other items right at the top are things I've spoken about previously, which is repaying what we had borrowed out of OPEB and repaying what we had previously taken out of stabilization. It's shown in 2 lines. The top line was the delta that we had to repay from balancing the budget, and the second number, the 265,000, was what we borrowed for the McCarthy farm. So we'll fully repay everything from those 2 accounts, which is obviously critically important, a commitment that we made. Next is putting in 100,000 for a capital stabilization account, trying to build that up so that we can fund capital purchases in the future. The next is a very small amount, $11,000, that's been hitting our free cash each year. And I'll need to get Serena to talk more about this at a future meeting, because this is really relating to a technical accounting thing that had to do with a grant that the school got. And the way the accounting has worked, it hasn't been closed out and it's been hitting our free cash each year. So this is really just an accounting cleanup. Next is 123,000 for the top coat on the new road up at the recycling center, which I think everybody's been very pleased with. And then I'll just quickly go down the line, 75,000 for town capital projects, which we've been doing every year. Then a fire department year 3 of a vehicle, an admin vehicle. I have this next one highlighted, $50,000 for fire station flooring. This is something that I just frankly missed in my last version of this document. It was a request that the chief had, and this is really critically important. This is really a safety issue at the fire department. And that's coincidentally, that 50,000 is the same number as this 50,000 in the school technology. So if I'm able to fund the school technology through ARPA, then there's no net impact on our use of free cash for this flooring improvement and repair. Next, you'll see in column D, we're going off the marijuana funds now. A new ambulance for 275,000, a new fire pickup truck for 70, and a new engine, combining 500,000 from free cash and 175,000 from the host community agreement. This engine pumper is something that Chief Duffy has made it very clear just has to be done this year. It's urgent, and the engine it's replacing is a dozen years old, if not more. Fuel management system, this is a huge number, 750,000. I mentioned that before. That's at the highway department. That's what fuels up all the town vehicles. Next is improvements to Spring Street, Summer and Beach, and curbs and sidewalks. We're funding that through 3 years, 200,000 each, because we couldn't afford the initial $600,000 request. Then a highway dump truck, 180,000 for additional road resurfacing through the highway department, and then a service body fuel truck for 75,000. Then going down to the police department, 2 cruisers, which they do every year, but you can see it's in column D. We're going to try to fund that through the marijuana host community agreement funds again. And then we get down to the regular school technology, 100,000, which they do every year, lease payments on some of the school vehicles that they have. And then a number of small requests from the Parks Department, a 1-ton roller. This utility vehicle, that's like a little small Kubota kind of John Deere, smaller thing that they can use to get around the different areas that they work on. And then a storage building is that little mini garage that's next to the track behind Memorial School that's in need of replacement, and a generator for their building. And then down at the bottom at the McKinley Community Center, everybody knows that building needs a ton of work, but we have some safety concerns with the exterior masonry. We don't want anybody getting hurt with fallen bricks or anything like that. So this would be some emergency masonry repairs. There was also a request from the community center for repairing the elevator panel, but I took that off because I'm going to be able to fund that now through the funds I have available in our town capital projects, so we don't have to wait for town meeting. So that's a quick rundown of all the regular use of free cash articles. There are additional articles that the water department has requested. There's a list of those, which we can go over at the next meeting, because they're not funded from free cash. They're funded from water receipts. And there will likely be a few, or maybe just one similar sewer article. They don't have any new funding available to fund any sewer articles, but they do have an older appropriation that they can rescind and reallocate. So that's really all I had as far as an update tonight. I'm happy to try to answer any questions you might have. And at your next meeting, that's when, on the 15th, that's when I'm thinking we'll go over a complete draft of the warrant, the latest version of the budget, and we might be able to finalize things at that meeting, unless you have any different direction you want to give me. That's all I have, Larry.
Sounds good. Other business, old business not reasonably anticipated. Do we have any?
I have none.
Very good. Now, number 6, town administrators report and correspondence.
Sure, thanks. Yep, thanks, Larry. So the main thing I've been working on the last 2 weeks has been the budget and the town meeting warrant. That's taken up a bunch of my time, and I do want to let you and the public know as a reminder that the annual town meeting warrant does close on March 11th. So that's been taking up a bunch of time, closes in about 10 days. I also want to let the public know and let the board know that we do have quite a few job postings that are available working for the town, and we have those posted on the town website as well as a number of other publications. So we have pushed that out a number of different ways, publications, even on social media. So if folks are interested in looking at a potential career opportunity with the town, we do have a number of positions in a variety of different departments available. I also wanted to let the board know that we've issued the invitations for bid to do the roof replacement at the police station that was funded at last year's town meeting. So bids are going to be due later this month, but the work won't actually have to occur until the spring or the summer. So the idea was to, given how expensive everything is now and the whole supply chain crunch, we thought we might get some better pricing if people knew they had a lot of time to be able to actually get the materials. Hopefully that'll get us some good pricing for that police station roof replacement. I've already mentioned that COVID tests are available at Town Hall, Senior Center, and the Community Center. And then lastly, I know that we're, I think, tentatively planning on returning to in-person meetings possibly as soon as our next meeting, but for this board to know, as well as all our other boards and committees, Governor Baker did sign into law an extension of some of the COVID-19 provisions that were previously enacted into law. And one of those provisions extends the date that boards and committees can hold completely remote meetings. It was set to expire in April, and now that's been extended until July 15th. So it's really up to each individual board and committee chair if they want to meet in person or remotely, but they do have the option to continue meeting remotely until July 15th. And that's all I have, Larry.
Excellent. Selectmen's comments. Comments and opinions expressed by the individual members do not necessarily reflect the views of the Board of Selectmen and are the opinions and comments of only the individual member. Ms. Needham.
Thank you, Larry. I don't have any new comments this evening, except to wish everyone well.
Excellent. Mr. Penny?
So two things, give a quick update on the school project. Doug was talking about it earlier. Even with the weather and supply chain issues, the school is actually on schedule and under budget. And I think that's a key part of that. We're talking substantially under budget from what the original numbers were. Projects going very, very well. We have had a great relationship with the architect, the OPM, and the GC. They all seem to be working very, very well. Very few change orders, very few hiccups. You know, as people see it, you can see the progress being made. They've actually, most of the windows are in now. They've started to put some of the brick up, really starting to take shape. So just wanted to give everyone an update on that. It is scheduled to be substantially completed in this October with a tentative move-in date of some students in January. So it's going pretty well. And then the last thing I had was I just wanted to thank everyone who took papers out, who took time out of their day to do that, get the signatures back, and run for public office. So I wish them all the best, and I thank each and every one who is making that commitment. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rich. And I'm just going to be very brief. On a very sad note, a good friend of ours, Janet Mitchell Petrosevich, passed away suddenly the other day. And though she really had a lot to do with the town, a lot of people know her, and she was comes from a good family, and the Mitchells are well known around the town, and she will be sadly missed. With that, number 8, executive session has been canceled due to lawyers' conflicts or whatever, and we'll pick it up at some later date. And so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
We'll second it.
And all in favor, Tiffany?
Aye, yes, thank you.
Yes, Rich?
Yes.
And yes, for Larry too. And thank you everyone for participating tonight. And we'll see you the next time on the 15th.
Thank you. Good
Good
night,
night,
everyone.
everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.